Okay. So this is the Drunken TJ Podcast because Ben is dead, Scotty's dead, I'm all the drunken peasants that are left. And so today it's just me, the greatest of the drunken peasants. And really, I'm better without them, honestly. You know, those guys, they're a bunch of cretins. They were just look at Ben's eyes. You just see the emptiness. You just see the shittiness, you know? He's garbage. You know, I don't know why people insist on saying I'm garbage. I'm not garbage. They're fucking garbage. TJ is fucking God. See that hashtag. Hashtag TJ is God. Of course, God doesn't exist. So that mean I don't exist? I don't know. It's one of those mysteries of the universe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing here. As far as I can tell, I have 0 viewers. I don't know if anyone even can find this fucking stupid thing or not. I don't even know if I'm recording right now, if this is going to go on YouTube afterwards. I don't even know if I'm wasting my fucking time. I might just be talking to nothingness. All right, it says 2 viewers now. So apparently people are finding it. Maybe. I'm not sure. Does it really matter? The only reason I'm doing this is just to have something go up on the channel so we don't have to have yet another day where there's nothing, you know, because, of course, Scotty is out of town. Ben has taken ill. He got the cough that I've had for the last few days. I feel better. Not 100%, but probably like 85%. Ben is down there at 25%. I called Ben up earlier. I'm like, so are we doing the show? And he's like, well, it just depends on what you want to do. Okay. Yeah, we ain't having the show. Ghastly. So there's a group chat open. I don't know if you guys can see it or use it or whatever, but if you can go there and do that. But if not, then I don't know. We'll figure something else out. So just finished making a video for my Amazing Atheist channel. Probably just going to upload it as soon as I'm done here doing this stupid shit. It's about basically it's just me taking a Southern literacy test from the 1960s. They used to give it to black voters. You know, if you can't pass this literacy test, you can't vote. And the joke is that the literacy test is pretty much fucking impossible. I say pretty much fucking impossible, but what I really mean is, yes, it is impossible. You'd have to be some kind of fucking super genius. And even then, you still would fail because they fuck you on answers. You know, it's basically designed to pass or fail at the discretion of the person grading the test, because there's several parts that you can interpret any way you want. But you'll see when you watch the video. It's kind of interesting. I guess no one can find this chat because even though it says there's 245 viewers, I don't see anyone participating in the little group chat window that I've opened up. So I don't know if people can locate that or not. Probably not. So if you guys want to give me feedback or ask me questions, I would say just send it to my Twitter. If you don't know where my Twitter is, too bad. Go find it. It's not that hard. And I'll just keep my little notifications window up here so that if one of you guys wants to do that, send me a question or anything like that, you can just tweet it to me. And that's good because it kind of limits you too. You can't ask some big, gigantic fucking question because you got to limit it to 140 characters. So that works for me. It should work for you. If it doesn't work for you, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is absinthe that I bought. It's really bitter. It's hard to drink, but whew. It tastes like eating a very bitter piece of black licorice. And I like black licorice, but goddamn, that's strong. Yeah, it's pretty much like 90% alcohol. I think it's actually about 70 or 80% alcohol, the actual absinthe. But of course, I've mixed it with water, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to mix it with water and sugar. They have like a little spoon that you put a sugar cube on top of, and then you pour the water gently over the sugar cube, and it melts down into the cup. But I don't have sugar cubes, so I just dumped some sugar in it and stirred it up. I figure same fucking difference. Okay, it looks like I got some questions coming in here. What do you think is true feminism? True feminism. I don't know if there's a true feminism necessarily. I mean, it's whatever you call what you believe is just what you believe. So if you want to, go around clubbing men in the face with a golf club and say, this is true feminism, then, who am I to argue? It's your own identification. I would say that true feminism should represent gender equality. So often, as we see on the internet with the Tumblr feminists and the Twitter feminists and the social media feminists in general, it's not often about equality between men and women, and it's oftentimes about not even female supremacy, but just male disparagement. They don't really care so much about, women are oppressed. They use that as a buzzword. What it's really about is men are pigs, men are scum. Look at these fucking men. The other day I saw this girl complaining about how most of the Avengers are men, and most of the little Koopa villains in Super Mario World are men, and there's only one woman in the Avengers. I think there's going to be two in the next Avengers movie, 2 women. And then, as for the little Koopa kids, I mean, why is female representation really that important there? They're villains. I mean, surely you don't really want to have, like, if they were all women, you'd be complaining that, why are all the villains women? And that's pretty much how that goes. Yeah. Hey, TJ, what do you think about letting elderly people drive? Should the state revoke it at some point? I think basically just once you reach a certain age, just make them take the driver's test over and over, every like year or two. Maybe once you hit 65 or something like that, you have to take the driver's test every year or every 2 years to make sure that, you're still capable to drive. And as long as they can pass the test, I really don't have much problem with them driving. There's plenty of bad drivers on the road that are not elderly people. But yeah, I mean, we've seen that people's ability to drive seems to degrade as they get older. So I think it makes sense to do that. And it's not like you can really say it's a form of discrimination. I mean, we're all going to be old if we live long enough. And if we don't, then, you know, I guess then it didn't matter, but everyone presumably is trying to reach that age. What do you think of Creationist Cat and his entire theme of mocking theists? What are you talking about? Creationist Cat is a theist. He's a creationist. You need to pay attention, sir. Does that Pure Leaf bottle next to you contain tea or piss? Well, this one is actual tea. And I mean, if that was piss, I would go to the doctor. You know, if I piss, 16 ounces, I guess, I'm sorry, 18.5 fluid ounces of brown liquid, think it's time to go, pay the doctor a visit. I'm not one of the most doctor going to type of people in the world, but, if you're just joining us and you're wondering where people are sending these questions, they are submitting them to my Twitter, and I will be answering them there. What type of questions do you like answering? What the fuck does it matter? Okay? Let's just get through this, buddy. Quit trying. Don't try to fucking customize it. I'm basically just refreshing my feed and answering whatever questions on top. So there's I'm not sitting here scanning and trying to pick which ones I like the best. I am refreshing the page and going with what's on top every time. So don't worry about it. All right. If you have a question, just keep on submitting it until maybe eventually it'll get fucking answered. And if it doesn't get answered, I'm very sorry. Not really. TJ, how often do you read and what types of books do you like? I haven't been reading a lot lately. I tend to like science fiction books. I also like just plain old science books. I like books about social theory and shit like that as well. Essay collections. I like to read things that teach me something or make me think. Whatever that may be. But like I said, I haven't read in a while. I mean, I read, on the internet, but it's been a while since I've sat down and really read a book. My reading habits tend to go through phases where, I'll absorb the written word for a while, and then I'll come to a point where I don't have any books that immediately interest me, and I'll stop reading for a while, and then I'll start collecting books in the meantime. And then eventually I'll go back and read through all the ones I've bought. I was planning on reading Sam Harris's Waking Up. That's like the guide to spirituality without atheism. Mostly just wanted to read that because I have no real sense of spirituality as a person, and that's never really bothered me, and it still doesn't. But I would like to maybe try to find out what spirituality is to people from a secular perspective, because apparently Sam Harris sees some worth in it. I'm not a huge Sam Harris fan, but I'm not a huge Sam Harris detractor like some people that I know. Galen. I just I'm in the middle of the road about him. I think that he makes intelligent points sometimes, and then other times I kind of find what he says to be silly, but he did a wonderful job debating Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. And if you read the comment section of that debate, the crowd seems to agree with me that Cenk lost. Not that I'm a go with the crowd type of person, but, it's just interesting to see that even the Young Turks audience kind of thinks Cenk is full of shit when it comes to the Islam issue. Now, of course, he has heritage from that region, so perhaps there's some bias due to that. How do you feel about vigilantes? In entertainment, public loves vigilantes such as Batman, but in real life, people hate them. Well, yeah. I mean, the vigilantes are a bad thing. The worst thing about the cops is when they overstep their authority, when they overstep the bounds of what their job actually entails, so that they can, basically be on a power trip, like, I'm a fucking badass. Well, a vigilante is just someone who's like that all the time and who has absolutely no accountability to anyone, because they only answer to themselves, and whatever, and they don't have an idea of justice that, like, we've all sat down and agreed on. And granted, the laws of society oftentimes are not like that either, but at least there's some semblance of that. At least there's the attempt to make the laws of the land represent the will of the people. But when it comes to something like a vigilante, they're just, whatever their standard of justice is, that's what they're going to enforce. And it's not democratic, and it's not representational at all. So of course it's a bad thing. But, in the world of comic books, it's fine, because there's no consequence for us if some guy in fiction decides to dress as a bat and go, punch a crazy guy, with green hair and a fucking gigantic red smile, who's trying to, blow up Gotham Tower or whatever. That doesn't affect me, because I don't live in Gotham. Gotham's not a real place. There's no Batman. There's no Joker. It's just, it's a story. And in the context of a story, it's fine. You can understand it. You can see the motivations. You can be emotionally detached from it in all the right ways, and emotionally invested into it in all the right ways, because you're separate from it. You're just an observer. And that gives you a greater degree of, not exactly objectivity, but something like that. Why don't you like other atheist YouTubers like Aaron Ra? Well, let's get this clear. Aaron Ra is the one who doesn't like me. I've liked some of his videos. I've made respectful videos where I politely disagreed with him, and he basically said, and even though there was tons of views and lots of people agreed with what I said in my Aaron Ra video, Aaron Ra said, this isn't worth my time. And basically accused me of being intentionally obtuse. So apparently, even though I respect him, or I did at that point, he chose to treat me like I'm just some inconsequential insect who is basically just making up my opinion for the sake of, I don't know, getting attention or whatever he thinks. So he's the one that has a problem with me. I don't have a problem with him, except for I feel like it was disingenuous the way he treated the criticism I levied, which was levied respectfully. He didn't even feel like it was worth his time to address. So I don't know what to do at that point. If your attitude towards me is that I'm not worth your time, then I'm not going to waste my time on you either, unless you're someone like Steven Crowder, because it's just too funny. Have you seen the new season of Game of Thrones? Who's your favorite character? Not a big Game of Thrones fan. I do enjoy the show, but I haven't watched most of it at this point. I've watched the majority of the first 2 seasons, and then I've seen an odd episode here and there, kind of following the plot, but not really. It's a good show. It's just, it moves very slowly. Not a lot happens. A lot of people just get obsessed over this character dying or that character dying. It's like at some point, hey guys, yeah, the characters are obviously gonna die. They're obviously all expendable in the eyes of George R.R. Martin. Can we just get over this? But yeah, I mean, it tells a compelling story, and it's interesting, and it's well made, and it's well acted. And my favorite character is probably Arya Stark or Tyrion Lannister. I enjoy both of those characters. Although when I talked to Galen about it, he said Anya is the worst character. So Galen disagrees. But Galen's got this thing like, oh, I've, figured all this out. I'm sorry, it's not Anya, it's Arya. Arya Stark. I knew I was getting that wrong. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't really watch it that much. But she's an interesting character, although apparently Galen thinks she's a piece of shit. And I also like Tyrion, just because he's witty and he's a dwarf. And witty dwarves apparently is like the new hot thing. We need more witty dwarves. In fact, if we get an entire show of witty dwarves, and that can even just be the title, Witty Dwarves, premiering this fall on NBC, or maybe it could be a Netflix original series. It's probably a better fit. TJ, I know in the past you said you liked anime, but what anime do you like besides DBZ? DBZ is like a guilty pleasure, all right? That's not, I wouldn't even, I mean, I do like it, but I kind of resent people saying I like it because it's not like I like it just because I'm so invested or something. It's almost like I'm watching it almost to make fun of it. But I mean, it is fun. Although the endless distractions like Goku running on Snake Way for, I don't know, 12 million episodes, or, why does everything have to take so fucking long to happen in that show? But yeah, I mean, other anime, I like GTO, that's Great Teacher something, Japanese name. That's like basically there's a teacher and he's like a badass, and it's funnier than it sounds. Ranma 1/2 or Ranma half. I don't know how that goes. That's basically a boy that becomes a girl whenever he gets splashed with, I think it's cold water. And there's lots of tits and stuff. I like Full Metal Alchemist. Both versions of the show are good, but I think Brotherhood is probably about 10 times better. So I would go with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've liked Berserk. I've liked Neon Genesis Evangelion. I've liked several other series. Baki the Grappler. That's another one I kind of watch as not even a guilty pleasure, but I'm watching it to make fun of it. And that's actually what Yujiro is named after, the main villain in Baki, Yujiro Hanma. That's probably a long enough time spent on that question, even though I haven't really listed everything I've watched. Do you prefer to smoke or you vape? Do you ever saw the Getting Dug with High podcast? I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm going to... TJ, have you watched Daredevil on Netflix? I liked it a lot. I don't watch new shows typically. I'll wait till a show's been around for a few seasons before I watch it, because there's been too many times where I'll start watching a new show and be like, wow, this is really great. And then it gets canceled after the first or second season. And it's like, nothing I can do. So I like to wait till a show at least has 3 or 4 seasons under its belt before I give it a watch. And maybe that makes me behind the times, but the times suck. So who gives a shit? What's the funniest story about you and Scotty or Ben you can remember? God damn it. Funniest story about me and Scotty or me and Ben or the three of us. I'm not much for recalling funny stories. I'm a very present-minded sort of individual. I'm sure I could think of a great story if I really racked my brain. But no, I can't. I got nothing. Fuck you. Who's that picture of in the background? That's my father, Thomas James Kirk Jr. And that picture actually is kind of funny. That was a picture I took of him when he wanted me to take pictures of him for like an OK Cupid profile so that he could go cheat on his wife at the time with hot women on the internet. Women were interested in him, but they were all too old for him, you know, because he was about 60, but he was interested in girls that were like in their 20s and 30s, but it was mostly women in their 40s and 50s that were responding to him. So he was kind of like, I guess I'll just stick with my wife. Kind of guy he was. Do you watch The Walking Dead? And if so, who's your favorite character? Doesn't have to be alive. Yeah, I watch The Walking Dead. I enjoy that show. I hear a lot of people being negative and criticizing, but I think it's a great fucking show. I think it's well done, well developed, interesting characters, interesting setups. I even liked season 2, which apparently no one likes season 2. Well, fuck you. I like season 2. I thought it was fucking great. I would consider season 2 my favorite season. And why? Because the ponderously slow pace. Yeah, it really works well on that show. I don't know what the fuck everyone else's problem is, but fuck them. They're idiots. Only I'm smart. My favorite character, you know, I hate to be like unoriginal, but I do like Rick, you know. I like Rick. I like Glenn, Asian guy. He's pretty cool. And I like Shane, who is, you know, he's dead. But, you know, I thought he was pretty cool. And, you know, honestly, it kind of sucks because he was just trying to advocate for the mentality that the group really ultimately ended up having anyway. So he was just kind of ahead of the curve. Not curb. Oh, man, there is no way I'm getting through this much fucking absinthe. This shit is fucking ridiculous. You mentioned the Young Turks often. Do you watch the daily live show? If so, are you ever in the live chat? Not only do I not watch their daily live show, but I barely watch them at all. I rarely ever check out Young Turks clips or footage or anything like that. You know, I used to. They've gotten too annoying to me in a lot of ways. I think that when they jumped the shark for me is when I saw them criticizing racist Halloween costumes. And, you know, they're all just sitting there sucking each other's dicks over how racist these costumes are. And I'm like, these costumes are not racist. Just because you're dressing up as someone of another race does not mean it's automatically racist. You know, I mean, I wouldn't, if there was like a costume for fucking Mexicans called, you know, lame white accountant, and it was, you know, fucking, I wouldn't give a shit. Not at all. Not in the slightest. But then they say, oh, well, that's because you're not oppressed, though. You know, you can afford to have a sense of humor about yourself because you're not oppressed. Suck a dick. Not that there's anything wrong with sucking a dick. In fact, you can suck a dick pretty well. You got a bankable skill in life. Remember that, kids. What is the best Eva girl? And what do you think of the rebuild of Evangelion films? I'm waiting for them to be finished before I even watch one. The best Eva girl, I mean, all the girls from Evangelion are like 14, so it's pretty perverted for me to even answer that. But I guess Rei Ayanami, you know, I had a crush on her when I was originally watching that show when I was like 16 or 17. Not as perverted then, but, you know, now I'm 30. So looking back on it, I don't know if I'm allowed to be attracted to Rei Ayanami anymore, you know. And again, she's just a cartoon character, so who knows, whatever. Which is worse, TYT or Salon? Well, I don't mean, you know, even though I've stopped watching the Young Turks, I would never suggest that they're as bad as fucking Salon. I mean, that institution has no journalistic ethics or integrity at all. That's Salon is fucking disgusting. I would never say they're worse than Salon. Do you identify as pansexual or bisexual? I identify as bisexual, but I don't really understand the difference between bisexual and pansexual. I don't really understand why we need all these sexuals. Like, can't we just all be into what we're into, and who gives a fuck? I mean, what's so hard about that? Why is that this big, impossible task that we can't seem to wrap our heads around? Got to have a fucking name for everything. And I feel the same way about genres of music, you know. Some genre distinctions make sense to me, but all these little micro distinctions, like between all the different genres of metal and shit, like, oh, this is thrash metal, and this is speed metal, and this is dark metal, and this is black metal, and dark metal and black metal, two totally different things. And it's like, can't it all just be metal and fuck all the rest? But then, well, people say, oh, but, you know, they all have their own distinct sounds. Yeah, sure. But, you know, couldn't you just figure it out by band then or something, you know? I mean, how much distinction do we really fucking need in order to understand something? At some point, doesn't it just don't the distinctions just become more confusing? That's what I'm saying. It's like at some point when you have a distinction for every single solitary thing, it's like there's almost no point in even having a distinction at all anymore, because everything has been categorized down to such a gnat's ass that there's no possible way you could remember all these genres. There's no possible way you could remember that, you know, this fits in this category. And then, you know, so many bands, they don't just do one genre, you know. They do a little bit from this genre, a little bit from that genre. It's just like becomes confusing. It doesn't really help. It doesn't really clarify anything. It becomes a language designed to obfuscate rather than to illuminate, and that's a problem. Damn it. Sativa or indica? Indica. Not that I even really have a strong grasp of which is which or what I'm talking about. TJ, what are your favorite news sites? You know, I like to go to the news section on Reddit to see what people are upvoting over there. I like to go to the Huffington Post. I like to go to the Drudge Report, because that's like the most mainstream liberal publication, the most mainstream conservative publication on the internet. I'll check out what's going on like BuzzFeed, even though that's really not much of a news site. I'll check like the news aggregators, like on the Google Trends and shit. I don't really have a particular source I favor. I guess I just kind of look around the internet and see what's what, and, you know, what people are talking about, and people send me articles and I, you know, seek them out. Addicting Info, that's a good one. Slate is sometimes good. There's sometimes kind of almost Salon-like too, but I'll even go to Salon. I'll go to Jezebel. I mean, I don't give a shit. I go all around the place. I mean, I know that there's different biases at different places, but I don't really let it distract me too much. I mean, it's just, you're just looking for interesting stories. The source is not that important. Look at the hairy chest. So manly. You're envious of that manliness, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Was the banana hard enough? I honestly want to know, but don't want to watch the video. Bullshit. You know you want to watch it. But yeah, I mean, apparently it was hard enough. Usually they're not. What's your view on zoophilia? You know, I one of the most hot water situations I ever got in was when I basically said, I think it was on a DP, that I don't really understand how people who eat animals can criticize people who fuck them, I got a lot of arguments back, and honestly, none of them made much sense. I'm not necessarily supporting zoophilia. I'm just saying that it's this weird kind of interesting moral question where we feel totally at ease raising animals in captivity, giving them pretty shitty quality of life usually. But even if they had a good quality of life, they're just being raised so that we can kill them and like eat their flesh and, make shirts or couches out of their skin. But then if someone wants to stick their dick in that animal, which, I mean, if we're talking about a cow doesn't even give a fuck if you stick your dick in it. How could it? It's a fucking giant cow. It's designed for like a bull penis that's like this. Some rinky-dink little human penis. That ain't even gonna fucking phase the damn thing. Now, why would someone want to stick their dick in a cow in the first place? I have no fucking clue. Most people don't even want to fuck people when they get too fat. But I guess there's some people that are so forgiving, they'll even fuck cows. I think it's kind of silly. I think it's more about our disgust with zoophilia than it is any sort of actual coherent moral problem. I think it's more just like we're disgusted by the behavior, and so therefore it must be bad or wrong. But that's a very dangerous way to think. I mean, we can make that same argument about gay people or any number of other people. It's just, I'm disgusted by it, so I don't want anyone to be allowed to do it. I mean, that being said, I guess I would say I am more against zoophilia than for it. But I wish there was more moral consistency in the way our culture approached issues like that. And I definitely think there's at least an argument to be had there. What do you think of Reza Aslan? He's a moron. What more is there to think? What do you think of Rand Paul, and do you think he's using the libertarian label to appeal to the mainstream? He's kind of been backing away from his libertarian positions of late. He's turning more and more into just an establishment Republican candidate, which of course is, what you expect to happen when these guys seek the presidency. Any sort of uniqueness about them, it always evaporates into just, what do the polls say? What do the polls say? What do the polls say? Because, of course, the people won't vote for anyone who doesn't agree with them on the polls. The polls, damn it. How often do you read YouTube comments in your own videos? I would say reasonably often I read them. Not always. Usually, especially when a video first comes out, I'll read the comments to make sure people don't fucking despise it or something like that. But for the most part, I try to read a lot of the comments I get throughout my YouTube videos. Usually after a day, I'm not reading comments anymore, but usually I'll go check a few times before I move on to another video. Because on my channel, I'm always focusing on the next video, not the last video. And I mean, the last video sucked. Oh, well, try to make the next one better. Usually I don't make videos that suck, though. I mean, I make videos that are like, I think people generally think my videos are just like, okay, it's not like anything amazing, but they're pretty good. And then occasionally I'll do one that people think, wow, this is like, a real great video. And it's usually not the ones I would even think. I'll make videos and I'll think to myself, wow, they're really going to love this one. And then, usually they don't hate the ones I think they're going to love, but a lot of times they don't go over as well as I think they will. And then sometimes I'll do a video that I don't even think is anything fucking special, and people will be like, wow, this is one of your best videos. So you just never really know. Or I never really know. Maybe you do. If sex negative is a thing, do you think we live in a death negative culture, and should that maybe change? Honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about. Favorite fast food place? I would say my favorite fast food place Probably Popeye's chicken, you know. I'm a Southern boy. I grew up in Louisiana, mostly in Louisiana. And one of the few things I liked about the South, one of the few things I continue to miss about the South, is the food. And Popeye's chicken is a pretty good authentication of Southern cuisine. I mean, it's obviously a fast food version, but it gets it pretty close. Now, the Popeyes that are actually in the South are quite a bit better than the ones you find up here in the North. Although the ones in the North are fine too. They're not like total shit or anything. Way better than that fucking KFC garbage, that's for sure. Anarchy or capitalism? First of all, those aren't even mutually exclusive, apparently, because anarcho-capitalism, that's one of the most popular forms of anarchy in America, is the anarcho-capitalists. But, you know, obviously I'm a capitalist. I mean, I'll sell shit left and right. I'll sell t-shirts. I'll sell books. I'll sell digital downloads, whatever I can sell, because, you know, that's how you make money on YouTube. I mean, you know, you get, I mean, AdSense, that's fine too. I mean, you make a little money doing that, sure. But mostly it's about selling things. And Patreon's a good tool. I don't have a Patreon on the Amazing Atheist channel anymore, but we have a Patreon here on the Drunken Peasants channel, and that's a huge boon to us. That's, you know, that helps the show immensely. Can't even really overstate how much that helps the show. You know, that's what makes it feasible for us to make the show a weekly endeavor, a 3 times weekly endeavor. Although, you know, we do miss shows. Obviously, we missed our show tonight, but with Scotty out of town and Ben being sick, I mean, there's not much choice. If 1/3 of the show is in Louisiana and another third of the show is, you know, in bed dying of fucking pneumonia, there can't be a show, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's important to sell shit to monetize, and so I'm a capitalist, and you have to be a capitalist if you want to survive in America, because this is a capitalist country, and you're judged. Your success in life is judged against how much money you can make. And you can say that's how it shouldn't be, and maybe you're right, but that's how it is. And I definitely find myself a participant in that system. Any input on the fact that media uses incest a lot to represent an evil character? I mean, you know, it's not really that strange, because incest, like zoophilia, is one of those things that people are scared of, you know, and it disgusts them. And I think that empathy actually hurts people when it comes to stuff like that, because it seems like when people try to engage in those sorts of behaviors, other people almost feel like you're trying to make them engage in it, or you're trying to make them condone it or endorse it or something. And so it's an easy way to make a character a bad guy. You know, oh, this creepy guy, he's going to kill the hero, but also, you know, he fucks his brother or his sister or his mom or something. And then you're like, oh, so now I hate that even more, that sicko. It's just, you know, it's just a cheap way to generate heat for a character. If they did it in wrestling, it'd be called cheap heat. Your opinion on strap-ons? Strap-ons are cool. You know, I have a lot of strap-on porn. If I go on my Tumblr right now and just look at my feed, I bet you I won't have to scroll far before I come up with a strap-on pic. Let's just see how many pics I go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm actually surprised one hasn't come up yet. So I guess that there's not a lot on it right now, but yeah, you'll definitely see some strap-on pics if you scroll far enough down. Is that one? Nope. La, da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm not seeing any right now, but usually there'll be a bunch on here. Just depends on which porn blogs are actively posting at the moment. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. That's the point. Should have just pretended like one came up, but I thought one really would. What is your favorite Pink Floyd song? I would say Time. Time is one of my favorites. I also like Welcome to the Machine. I like Wish You Were Here, even though it's kind of a more traditional song. It doesn't really have a lot of the Floyd feel to it. Brain Damage, Eclipse, pretty much all of the Dark Side of the Moon album, actually. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great songs from Pink Floyd. But Time is probably my very favorite. Have you heard of CJ Whirlman yet? Nope. So can't really answer that. If you are to be executed, by what means do you choose? You know, I don't know. It depends on my mood that day. What do you think about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and what it says about us as a polluting species? You know, I'm not a big fan of pollution. I'm not a big fan of overpopulation. I'm not a big fan of people who say overpopulation is a myth. I'm not a big fan of the way that humanity uses its resources so carelessly with such little regard for future generations. And I'm not a fan of the way that we destroy the ecosystems that are vital not only to our own existence, but to the existence of all life on Earth. So I think we're kind of scum fucks in that regard, and we should really get our shit together. I don't do a lot of environmental videos, though, because people don't take them seriously. Most people don't give a shit. TJ, will you take a shot with me? Cheers. All right, fine. Clank. Blah. I do not like that. I don't know. For some reason, Seth Holman keeps asking any opinions on the fact that incest is used to represent an evil character in a lot of fiction. I answered that already. Stop submitting a question I fucking answered already. Dipshit. How fucking stupid are you? Are you deaf? I'm gonna block your ass. Have you ever seen the goddamn podcast? The host even calls himself TJ. Well, that's bullshit. There's only one TJ in the world, and we all know that that's me, god damn it. The show cut off. Someone says the show cut off, but looks like it's still going to me, so fuck it. What do you think of Fallout 1 and 2? I've never played either of them. I know they're more like turn-based, overhead view kind of games, and that seems cool. I like that sort of thing. I'd like to check them out at some point, maybe, although I don't really have a lot of time. And I don't really seem to be getting many questions now. So, here we go. When you play Fallout New Vegas, how do you play? Sneaky, run and gun, etc. And who do you side with? I'm not much of a sneaker. I definitely, I guess, run and gun. I'm not sure if that means what I think it means, but if it means like you run up to them, take a few shots, and then run the fuck away and hide and take cover, then that's definitely more my style. As for factions, I've played through the game twice. The first time I did NCR because I respected that they were trying to bring order to a very chaotic place. And the Caesar's Legion guys just seemed like assholes. Didn't really want to side with assholes. And the second time I played through, I was independent. I didn't side with any of the factions. For some reason, they think that when you do that, it's because you want to just set everyone free and, just leave everyone to their own devices. That wasn't what I wanted at all. I wanted to fucking be the king. I was trying to take over myself. But apparently that's not a possibility, which sucks because that's what I wanted. I wanted to fucking take over New Vegas. I wanted to be the fucking head honcho. Fuck Mr. House. Excuse me. Are you going to upload this video to your Teach It As Life channel? It would make more sense if you do. No, this is a Drunken Peasants it's on the Drunken Peasants channel for a reason, because we couldn't do a Drunken Peasants show tonight. So it's just me. It's just the Drunken TJ Podcast. It's even called that, isn't it? That's why I titled it. Are you fucking stupid? How fucking dumb are you? I mean, really, I don't care what you think makes more sense. This is what we're doing. You're not in charge, bitch. You're some fucking pissant. You don't get to fucking decide shit. I don't care what you think makes more sense. Dipshit. What do you think about the gold standard and fiat currency? I'm in favor of fiat currency. The gold standard doesn't make any sense. Tethering our financial systems to a finite resource and one that is of no inherent value is just silly. And also, it's very difficult if you have a crash on the gold standard. It's very difficult to manipulate your way out of the situation because the economy is not very reactive to what you do. There's not a lot of ways you can stimulate that economy. And some people say, well, but it's a more stable economy overall. I guess that's true. But we really haven't had any more crashes with fiat currency than we have on the gold standard. I mean, economies always go through boom and bust cycles. My throat's getting a little raw. We might have to stop this shortly, but we'll do at least a few more questions. If your sibling is a brony, does that cross the line by combining zoophilia and incest? Well, only if you're fucking them. Are you fucking them? What's worse, saying the Jews deserved it because they killed Jesus, or saying the Holocaust didn't happen? I would say saying the Holocaust didn't happen is worse, because at least saying, well, the Jews killed Jesus, I mean, that's ignorant as shit, but at least it makes sense if you believe in the whole Jesus thing. Saying the Holocaust didn't happen, that doesn't make any sense. So I would say the point of view that makes sense but is reprehensible, I'll choose that over the point of view that's reprehensible and still doesn't make any fucking sense. Damn it. Hey, TJ, what is your opinion on the death penalty? I'm against the death penalty. I don't think it's effective as a deterrent. I don't think that society has the right to deprive someone of their life unnecessarily, someone who poses no threat to them. I think it's barbaric. Yeah. Do you invest in Bitcoin? No. if you want to talk about an unstable currency, I mean, Bitcoin, that shit's just like up and down all over the place. Which I guess if you buy it when it's down and then wait for it to go back up and then sell it, then I guess you could make money. And I know that a lot of people have made money on Bitcoin, but all right. My throat's really giving out on me, so I'm just going to answer 3 more questions and call it a night. View on bullfighting. I think bullfighting is brutal, barbaric, probably shouldn't be done. That's another thing people approve of, is just like, we're just going to fucking let a bull in a ring and we're just going to fucking, torture and tease it and then we'll fucking kill it. But don't fuck it now. Don't stick your penis into it, which would hurt it incredibly less. That would be wrong. See how it doesn't make sense? I mean, I know that, it's more entertaining to watch a bull getting killed than fucked. I don't know. Actually, both might be pretty entertaining, but most of us, can at least, most of us can understand the appeal of being violent towards a bull better than we can understand the appeal of fucking a bull. Because, a bull is just not sexy. But still, like, if you actually look at what's being done to it, I think it's a lot worse to just torture and fucking, toy with it until you just kill it. That's worse to me than just fucking it in the ass or whatever you're going to do. What do you think of Batman versus Superman? I didn't like Superman, the last Superman movie, the Zack Snyder one. So I don't really know how much hope I have for that movie, honestly. And then Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, everyone knows how I feel about that shit. That being said, I'm open to it. I hope it's good. I just don't have much hope that it will be. TJ, would there ever be a job offer you'd be okay with having to quit smoking pan? If I was like a professional ass oiler for like Brazilian bikini models and they're like, you can't smoke weed, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. I can live with that. I know I said I'm going to answer one more question and we'll call it a night. That one sucks. Wait for a good one. Wait for a good question. All right, maybe I'll just go down further because I know I have a ton down here I didn't answer. Do you have any mental health issues? No. What would make you think that? Do you listen to any classical music like Beethoven? Yeah, I have a Beethoven and a Mozart and a Chopin channel on Pandora that I'll just listen to sometimes. Usually I'll light up a joint or something and sit there and listen to classical music and just kind of enjoy the ambience of it. I like this. This is special. All right. Well, on that note, it's over. I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourselves. I would have done it a bit longer if it weren't for the fact that my throat's kind of given in. If this room wasn't so fucking hot, I could probably have gone longer, but this hot ass room is really fucking irritating my throat. And I am, as you know, recovering. When I started this video, I said I was at 85%. I think now I'm down to 70% or so. So probably good to stop. I know there's a way you can actually add people to the conversation here in these Google Hangouts. I have no idea how to actually do that. That actually might be cool though, if I could just like get someone else in here and I could, berate them and shit. Let's see if I can figure out how to do it. Chat, screen share. Q&A, capture, cameraman, control room, hangout, toolbox, YouTube. Invite people. Says I can invite somebody. If you want to be invited, send me your fucking email or something. And maybe I'll put you on here and we can have a little conversation with each other. Do 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 do. Haven't gotten an email yet from anybody who wants to be on. I'm gonna wait 20 seconds. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here's someone. This person is named Fail McFail. Sounds promising. So I'm inviting that person. Paste. Invite. So I invited that stupid person. Pip Monk X. See if this person comes on too. Apparently, a username is not good enough. Pretty much has to be an email. Someone just tried to send me like some kind of username or something. That don't work. Do. Here's this person. Hey, you're invited, bitch. Oops. Get out of here. I don't know if me sending these invitations is like letting them be on the show or not. Not really sure how this shit works. Just give out the link through DM or tweet, then they can join Hangouts. I don't know. All right, well, I invited 2 people. If neither of them show up, then either I did it wrong or they're stupid. So, not really sure. Guess I'll answer a question in the meantime. Have you ever read an apologetic book, Reasonable Faith, Mere Christianity, etc., for either entertainment or to rebut? I like the word rebut. It's like butts again. But yeah, I've done that. I've never really read one for that purpose, but I've skimmed one. I had one called Overcoming Spiritual Blindness that I've read or skimmed through. And yeah, it's full of like stupid shit. It's the same kind of stupid Christian apologetic shit you read anywhere else. So it's not like especially unique. You know, it's the same shit you hear from like Ken Ham or that fucking goofy bastard that built the Ark in fucking Kentucky. DM me the link and I'll join. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't feel like figuring it out. Show's over. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry there wasn't a Drunken Peasants tonight. Like I said, Ben was sick. Scotty's out of town. So all you got's me. And I'm stupid. I don't know how to run this shit. But maybe I'll learn in the future so that next time I do this, I'll actually be able to bring people in. Yeah. This is Drunken TJ Podcast signing out.